All right, welcome back, children. This is the third video in our How to Arm Wrestling video series. And I have Corey West, the Force from Arkansas. And we are here to talk about our recent match in Lindale, Texas. And it was a best of 5. And you can see it going here. We'll just play the first match and I'll bring Corey in. What were you thinking at this moment, Corey?
Probably more than anything that I really needed to attempt to be as aggressive as I could possibly be.
Yeah. You know who I think's more nervous than me or you right now?
Oh,
Michael Todd. Michael Todd was pacing the stage, man. He was wearing me out. These WAL, man, I'm telling you, man, once the world saw a WAL start, I do not know why everybody didn't. I hate these WAF starts. They take forever. You know, you fight it. Nobody ever knows when it's coming.
Yeah, I was fine with whatever. I knew that it was going to be tough, your arm length and the hand size difference. I was like, whatever. Yeah.
So for those of you watching at home, you can tell Corey knows what the hell he's doing. His body's angled, his hips tight up against the table, his shoulders in. Now they'll bring this shoulder in, but Corey is definitely set up. When you watch the how-to video with Niles and Kyle, you'll see Kyle sets up square to the table. He's not right. I also have my hip tight to the table, my shoulders in. I have actually got the preferred side of it's my preference because I get to watch the ref coming in. If I remember correct, I was not capped. I don't think you capped at all during this match. Is that correct?
I never cap. Even if I were going to attempt to top roll, I probably wouldn't cap.
Yeah.
Maybe for slipping purposes, but it's just not something I'm that great at.
I didn't cap. Your hand is big and it's thick, but man, it's so comfortable when I grab under my thumb. So I felt good here. I was going to, all I want to do was hit high and knuckles. And I just, oh man, these WAF starts, it's a centuries old sport. Fix this, people. Jesus, this is bad. I mean, say what you want about Travis. I love the man, but that WAL start is efficient. But I'll tell you what, I do like the ref. I mean, if you're in a WAF match, man, I love the ref scripts. It's about as fair as it's going to get. It's still not fair, but it's as fair as it will get. So, do you want to cap Corey? Corey says no. So they pull his fingers underneath that thumb. And I think your thumb might actually be shorter than mine. They asked me if I want to.
I don't really have a very long hand.
And that was surprising. My whole game plan coming into this was I wanted a good bite on your hand. I wanted my knuckles up and I wanted to be first off go. And ladies and gentlemen, what you are seeing right here is, if I can find the exact moment, it happened so fast. This 440-pound man was crazy fast. Look at this, perfect form. Back straight, shoulders tight to the arm. He's got his wrist curl in. He's got my palm up. He's moving down. Look at this. He's still got the top of the peg. His elbow drops over the table. I'm looking at the belly of my forearm and I am on the losing side. My knuckles are up, but my whole hand is turned around. I got to tell you, at this moment, I go, oh my God, I am in for such a long day. And I'm gonna reply that. Watch this.
I really wasn't even trying to.
You weren't really trying to what? I'll pause it.
I wanted to be a little more like, obviously I kind of wanted to hook you, but I kind of wanted to be out on your hand. I wasn't necessarily trying to take your hand like a top roller. I just wanted you to be flat and rotated, but you got way more cupped in than I was hoping for on that match. Even though it went my way, I was like, oh God, I think I, dodged a bullet, because I thought once you were fully cupped that the match would stop.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
wanted
think you
to
fought me
go
with
ahead.
back pressure on that first match at all. Like, I felt like that was a big key to what changed things.
Yeah, well, we're gonna play at full speed now. I wanted to be inside, but I did not want to be wrist to wrist with you. I wanted to be palm to palm with my knuckles high. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Watch how fast this goes, kids. Boom! I didn't even slow him down. I think I peed in my pants a little right there. Look how happy Michael is. I think Michael thinks he won the first match. Rebecca Todd calls me, says I'm looking very serial killerish. So I'm going, wow, I have no idea what I'm going to do next. All right. All I knew is I had to change something, and I don't have a whole lot of ideas. Oh, Michael Todd's happy. Oh, all of this footage is from Monster Michael Todd's YouTube channel. I'll put the links in the description, and I'll put the links in the first comment. So yeah, that was the first, your first off go, you turned me in, palm up, and just maintain. Oh man, let's speed this thing up. What's going on? Here we go. Okay. So now, what are you thinking? I'll play the match full. I just want to get your thoughts before I'll play the match all the way through, then I'll rewind it. So you're feeling pretty stoked right now.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that I was overconfident by any means. I just felt like I needed to be able to hit that same angle again. I didn't even think about it not being a possibility, to be honest. Not to sound confident. I just felt like there was a lane that I had, and again, probably showing a lack of experience. Didn't even think. Everything felt so similar in the setup, and I do feel like you timed the second go way better though.
Dude, you are not overconfident. At this moment, my mom put $1,000 on you on State Kings. Okay, my mom's betting on you. Look how happy Michael Todd is over here, man. He's giddy. It's like it's Christmas in Lindale. So now I got to look away. Okay, so for you kids looking at home, look at this. Proper body position. Hip tight against the table. Even if you're kind of juicy right here, which forces Corey to lean more forward than me, hips tight against the table, that shoulder is behind the hand. All your pressure is coming from that shoulder if you're going sideways. If you're going backwards, you can square up a little, but you still want that hip against the table. Oh, these WAF starts. My God. They seriously have to do something about the starts on these matches. But I don't like fast forwarding through the starts because it gives everybody a false sense of just how efficient this sport is. I know my internet connection is unstable. I live here. I don't know if people at home saw that, but there was a warning about my internet connection just popped up in the middle of the video. So what do we have? We had 5 matches, 0 straps, 4 fouls. Was that the total?
I know I got fouled for cupping in.
I got fouled because you pushed me off the pad.
It wasn't intentional, like everybody says, though. I didn't have any hand left. All I knew to do was to give it up. And
hey, Jerry Cataret was pushing me.
I'll
tell you something. Jerry Cataret tried to push me off the back of the pad. He didn't do it as efficiently as you did. So that's a good weapon for you.
I wasn't. Yeah.
This is before you. I learned something. So
Elbow foul.
yeah,
Oh, I
well,
did elbow foul. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
that was intentional. So the only adjustment I did here was I capped, and by capping, what I think happens, what I intended to happen was by capping, it raises my knuckles just a little and it gets my forearm in a more vertical position. I don't like capping because it moves my little fingers higher up your hand. So I have less purchase with my little fingers because your hand gets thicker as it moves away. You know, it gets wider as it moves away from your wrist. And I lose purchase with my index finger. But you are so good at spinning in and hitting hard with that low part of your wrist,
Nice.
like you
Stuff
did in the
broke.
first match, that so I capped and that got me a little higher. And now and in my estimation, that was just enough because you went into awesome form again. If I can't stop it because I am telling you, man, you move like a middleweight. I do think I moved first though. I think I moved my hand first, but I think you got your body in motion quicker because you're more to your. We're on my losing side of the table at this point. So, I mean, for a super heavyweight, you've got speed and you've got skills coming off go. It's just that we're not wrist to wrist anymore. Nor last time, if you remember right, you had my whole hand turned towards the ceiling. But by capping, it prevented you from spinning. I think had I not capped, you would have had this shoulder more behind the hand and you could have rolled me over. But that was just that little adjustment right there, I think was what allowed me to stop the match here. Because last time I couldn't put the brakes on you, even though I'm still in the losing position. Now what? Yeah, now you tell the folks
Yeah,
at
I
home
think I over.
because that's what I felt and that was my impression, but I have no idea what was going through your head.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the easiest. No, the last one was the easiest, but the early rounds, this was your easiest win, I think. I think that I over committed some with my side, and you, like you said, you countered really well, and it pushed me just outside of my shoulder, and I actually, and kind of lost my hand fairly quick in this match. Over rotated wise.
Yeah, because your shoulder is leading your hand a little bit, where my hand is still my hand is still inside my shoulder, and it's hard to tell. Your shoulder might be equal with your hand, or maybe just a little in front and past it. In which case, your side pressure just disappears. So unless you're going backwards, this position isn't bad. If you're going this way, if you're trying to go that way, this is not a good position for you. But it stopped it, and now now we're just arm wrestling. Like 10, you get very cheeky right here. Where is it? Where is it? It is boom, and he elbow fouls. Very good. That was good. That was a good move, man. It stops the clock. I break the lights. Look at that. I turned the lights off on my side of the table. Michael Todd goes, "Hey, what the hell?" I think you broke Michael Todd's heart. In the Niles video, Rebecca Todd says, "I'm looking like a serial killer." I think that just means Rebecca Todd has a thing for serial killers. But look how nervous Michael Todd is, man. It's like, aren't you supposed to be videotaping this? Go sit down. You know what? I think for $5, I think Michael Todd would have walked up to that table and pulled me.
Probably for less than 5.
Yeah, I think you wanted to jump in there, man. I'll be honest, I've watched people I've coached. It's hard to sit back and watch somebody you've coached pull, man. Well, we don't go into the straps once this whole event. I think I lost you. Okay, you're back.
You there?
Yep, you disappeared for a second, so I
put,
stopped the tape.
I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I forget every time.
That's all right. It's not like what we're Steven Spielberg here.
Will you text Michael and tell him I'll call him back? Yeah. This is actually the one where I was talking about getting turned palm up and you kind of pulling straight through me pretty easy once you got on the winning side. I thought we were one off, I guess.
Uh-huh. Yeah, now, okay. Yeah, right there. So for you kids looking at home, this is where now I maintain good position. You are definite first. This is a huge gap between your shoulder and your hand. Not only is your elbow angle open, but it looks like your shoulder's way on the wrong side of your hand. And it's hard to see it, but now you're
I'd have been
up.
much better off to stand up tall. And
Yeah. This is
I should have came more to myself.
But it's, when
Tried
you're
to stand up and pull my. I should have tried to close the gap in my bicep for sure. Should have stood up and maybe leaned forward some.
Yeah. You people at home, you never want to be arm wrestling on your bicep. And you guys that are at home trying to develop some 100-pound dumbbell curl on your bicep, all that's going to do is encourage you to pull on it, man. I do not know what arm wrestling move requires a huge bicep curl to enact, but no. So this evened our matchup. Look, I still turned the lights off on the table. That was pretty cool. That's what I think of your fancy Christmas tree table. I'm turning my side off. Okay. So now you got to go over there and console Michael Todd. Oh, is it the ref that tries to turn the lights back on? That's funny. All right, let's see if we can't speed this forward. These WAF starts.
Could you feel my last three fingers losing which we didn't fight outside, so you probably couldn't, but that was definitely the worst my hand has ever pumped up in a match. I want to say after that one, I couldn't even close my hand anymore. That's why I started trying to press you with my shoulder.
Yeah. No, I could feel, I don't know if it's this match because you win this one. Well, this ain't a spoiler alert that this video has been watched 50,000 times like a week ago. So everybody already knows how it ends. But not this match you felt good, but the next two you definitely felt drained. But I don't really feel, I never felt your hand because your hand fills up mine so much. I'm just worried about getting my knuckles high because I had this big concern of getting rolled under again. So let's see. Oh, I love these WAF starts, man. I think we should start drag races this way. It's so efficient. I think the Kentucky Derby should start this way, where all the horses line up and then they walk away and then the refs come out and line them up and then they take off running, where nobody knows when goal's going to happen. Jesus, this has got to be. There are so many things wrong with our sport. One is this constant pacing when we're here to see an arm wrestling match, and there's 40% of it is people walking around. If I want to watch people walking around, I'll go watch the people striking John Deere. Here's my coach over here. He doesn't know what to tell me because he's just watching. He's nervous too. Oh, for crying out loud. I did not remember the start was this. Look at it. He is arguing with the ref on your behalf.
Oh, because he pulled my beard and I turned.
Yeah. I didn't know you brought your lawyer with you.
Top tier attorney there.
Yeah, you didn't cap once this whole time. I capped every time after the first match. So we're just grinding it out there. I felt good. Okay, that's okay. The match I thought that happened. I thought, okay, so now, all right, it's 2-1. So you won the fourth match.
Yeah. So in that match, everybody seems to think that I did the same thing like every match, but in that match, I actually tried, instead of going sideways, because I knew that wasn't working, I tried to come more at you because I felt like your arm was so short compared to mine and your back pressure was great. So once you were back and I couldn't gain any more hand. So I actually tried to shove forward and gain as much rotation as I could on go to see if I could gain anything in order to gain some rotation once I started trying to make a sideways move.
And you did. You left first. This is shortly after go. You left first than me, and you definitely are tighter than the last time. But it just stopped. But it was, you are so comfortable wrist to wrist, and it's hard to try to develop these contingency plans, in the heat of the moment, especially when you're, the thing is the people in the audience see stuff that you as the puller don't, and people are constantly yelling advice at me and stuff, and it's not sensical. Look how nervous he is. He is so nervous. You know what? This is the father watching his daughter pitch her first softball game right here. He loves you so much. This is where you out Jerry Cataract me.
Well, so I've actually gotten several, like I've pinned Michael out of desperation like that. Like just, like you can probably clear it up. You didn't try to take my hand ever, correct?
No.
Like I didn't get my hand took. I dumped my hand because we were so palm to palm and just tried to shove you to the back of your pin pad.
Yeah. I never try to take anybody's hand. I am so happy to arm wrestle flat wristed. I am never, the only time I take your hand is when you make a donation. Okay. I am happy just to keep my knuckles high and go sideways.
Yeah.
So I'm capping, you're low, you're trying different things. Okay, so it stops. And I'm going to tell you what I was thinking. I could tell you were starting to get tired. And all I wanted to do was get you like really tired, because this was, if I won this would have been it for me, I think. God, I should have remembered. Yeah, because this is the fourth match.
Yeah, it's 2-1 right now.
Yeah. But what you do something that completely discombobulated me. So was that okay? You fouled?
No, that was you. That was where I shoved. And
okay, you pushed me off the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Michael.
Yeah.
Michael doesn't know.
Definitely, like I said, not my intentions were not to make you foul. It was just a desperation.
I don't care.
Maybe
Gary Cataract said he was trying to put. I would push you off the back of the pad if I could. As long as it's legal, there's no issues with that. That's legit. I mean, football players run out of bounds all the time to stop the clock. To me, it's no different than that. But what I did realize was I can't hold on to you and bleed you out at all, Eddie, because since you're capable of pushing me off, I can't let the match last anymore. But that was the one you were talking. That's an example of where I did not take your hand. Let me go back just a second. So we go the start. I'm comfortable with the starts now. We're headed into, and this is what a lot of people don't understand who don't arm wrestle. It looks like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. You're making adjustments, but unless you're freaking Brezink or Devin Lorette, you're not going to go from an inside puller to a completely outside puller in the space of one match, But yeah, right here, I did not take that. We were going, and then when that hand goes, you rolled it out for me. And then I'm going, whoa, oh, this is what top rollers feel like. I had no idea. What an efficient way to win a tournament. I should do that sometime.
Right.
Fruity butt.
Yeah, and then I got a bunch I got a bunch of hate online because they were like, "Oh, I can't believe he took that win on fouls." I was like, "Of course I took the win. It made it 2-2 with the 5th match."
You didn't get any hate from me like that. You know, you're here to hey, they make the rules. The sport's 10,000 freaking years old. All right. You pull it any way you can.
Right.
So what is this? The 5th match? Yeah. So this was so odd. No straps, very few fouls for such a close match. This was a really good, if we could have just gotten rid of this WAF start stuff. But you were, I was tired, and I know I was blowing hard, but I could tell you were really tired.
Dude, my hand and forearm was done. You can probably see it here. I literally just tried, like, without any shoulder commitment or hand, just tried to, I tried to go palm to palm. I just didn't have any way to do anything else left because obviously I didn't have the side pressure I needed in the direction that I needed because you could negate it. And I didn't have any hand left to do any kind of outside move. I was like, I'm just going to try to shove. And as soon as it started, it was over.
Yeah. And this is where, for you beginners, if it's a WAF start, you know what? That whole gripping, re-gripping, loading, fighting the refs, that's like 10 or 15% of the match. I mean, you can wear somebody out at the grip, you know, and if you're showing up like you're some freaking Boy Scout just trying to be all righteous and everything else and be a fair grip, you know, an experienced arm wrestler is going to wear you out before the ref ever puts his hands on you. So that, I mean, I myself, I'm partial to WAL rules because the WAL rules love me. I mean, it's almost like I wrote them myself, but that fighting at the grip, which is, you know, as far as TV goes, is the boring part. That's probably 20 or 30% of the match is that fight at the start, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely, you know, I knew that there was, you know, a high probability that I wasn't, you know, gonna win. I was very hopeful that I had the ability to win. You brought a whole set of problems that I had never faced. Which, you know, I've only been in the sport a handful of years. And, you know, it seems like everybody's at least my length in forearm because obviously you're on a different frame and you come up from a lighter division. Just that short arm with all that power was just weird. It was a hard thing to attempt to counter.
So if I was coaching you against me, somewhere in the 2nd or the 3rd match, I would have told you we kept going palm to palm sideways, which worked out well for me. But like I said, the first match I didn't cap, and then I capped after every match. What I would have coached you to do, and I don't know why Mr. Monster Michael Todd didn't, was if you watch the Niles and the Kyle DePew match, if you were to, let me find a match where we can see your hand at start. Bob Brown calls it fishing. But I'm trying to, okay. So you got a good classic setup. You got your knuckles high. Here's your wrist. You're setting up like I do. Had you drop these fingers down more horizontal and raise this wrist up into my little fingers, because I'm capping, which raises my little fingers higher up on your hand. And as your hand goes from your wrist up, it gets wider. And had you dropped that wrist and gone more backwards, your tendency there would have been able to stop my little fingers from getting any purchase onto your hand. But the risk of that is your knuckles are now low. So now I'm on top. Bob Brown and Dave Morocco are really, really good at that. Dave Morocco is probably the best guy in the world to prevent somebody from hooking you. The problem is Dave Morocco doesn't want to hook either. I'm not so sure that's a philosophy you want to follow, but sometimes when you're down and you're close in a match, you just what you need is when you go into a super match, you should try to win every match. But if trying to win isn't working, then try to not lose long enough until something presents itself. No. Now, my not lose strategy is to try to top roll like Travis does. So I just fire backwards with some god awful, hideous freaking top roll that everybody giggles at, but it's not what the other guy's looking forward to.
Yeah, I think there was a couple things. Like I said, my hand, like I actually do have a pretty decent. I don't love to do it because obviously I tried it against Dave and lost my left bicep. I do have the ability to go, like just straight defensive and rotate. And I've ended up hurt like that a couple times. I know what kind of power you have. Not saying that am just straight fearful of injury, but I felt like, I don't know, I just couldn't make myself commit to it. I felt like possibly the early win might have played with my head on maybe finding that lane again. A couple things. I mean, I do really wish that I would have made it to the strap because I do have a lot better ability to rotate. Like you're saying, like straight back and out.
Yeah.
But
I think a strap match between us would have been exciting because then we would have found out, because I really don't think we're that far apart on force. We might be farther apart on power, but I think force wise, I think we're close. And I think a strap match would have gone. I think a strap match between us has the potential to go like 2 or 3 minutes. I think those Lindale, Texas brisket eaters would have loved a strap match, but it's odd that we didn't go into one, because I usually walk up with the straps already semi-attached to my wrists. All right. So before we wrap up, like I said, this is the How to Arm Wrestling series. What would you tell first-year arm wrestlers? I have, Michael Todd's got like 60,000 subscribers. I've got just under that. So what would you tell my hundreds of people watching this video? Because most of my viewers are under 2 years experience.
Man, I think always, and everybody's not going to be blessed like Miles and I am with Michael, but I think the biggest thing that you can ever do is just find, if you got anybody within driving distance like yourself or Michael, there's nothing better than you can do than to just absorb as much and be around as much as you possibly can. Everybody's not going to have that luxury, obviously, but that's the thing that's helped me the most, obviously. Aside from that, just being safe, because you've had more than me, but injuries are huge setbacks.
Yeah, Dave Chafee tore both our biceps.
Right.
Dave Chafee's got a collection of. Right? Dave Chafee has a trophy room, and it's just people's biceps hanging on the wall.
Yeah. He tore your right though, right? And my left.
Yeah, he tore my right. Marcio tore my left, arm wrestling right-handed. So actually, he's the bicep killer.
Yeah. No, Dave definitely. I made a bonehead move trying to drop on somebody that strong, and rotate. It wasn't smart. It was definitely my mistake, not his. He definitely didn't hurt me. No. I brought that on myself.
All right. Before we sign off, I just want to your advice about finding somebody to pull with. That is exactly my number one piece of advice. I will tell beginners all the time, instead of driving 3 and 4 hours to go attend some tournament that's going to cost you $30 a class to enter and is going to pay you nothing but a t-shirt, spend that 3 to 4 hours, find a practice nearby, and go practice with somebody who knows what they're doing. Then you got the ability to try different things. You get to talk to them. When you go to a tournament, you are in tournament mindset. You are trying to win. You are not learning and you're not observing stuff. Going to tournaments to gain experience. I'm not saying it's stupid, but man, is that dumb. If you need to gain experience, find a practice nearby, even if you have to freaking get on an airplane and go practice with somebody. I'm 2 hours from Columbus. You can come and practice with me if I'm home. Down in Georgia, they got Ron Bath and those guys. Derek Smith runs a heck of a practice out in California. Contact these big guys who know what the heck they're doing and attend a practice. I would tell a beginner that instead of attending 3 and 4 tournaments the first year, go attend 3 or 4 cross-country practices. You will learn so much more, and you will be so much more confident when you go to a tournament because you've made connections and you now know the right questions to ask and you kind of know how to prep. That's all I got, Corey. What do you got to add?
Man, I just kind of what you said. I think a practice full of beginners can be very confusing. It can create a bunch of habits that have to be removed. It can make you end up very injured, you know, if you show up to a tournament with a bunch of false knowledge on how to arm wrestle. So definitely, especially the first year or two, like you said, finding a group of guys that really can kind of shape and mold you in the right direction is huge for sure.
So let me ask you just a few questions. This wasn't supposed to be an interview thing, but I just want to ask you one question before I let you go. Your opinion on amateur / novice / beginner classes versus pro classes.
I don't know that I really have one. I pulled about 11 months. Obviously, my size and just natural ability pushed me beyond that pretty early. I would say that they have a place, but you see some guys that get kind of stuck in those classes, and then you mess around and see a guy that's been arm wrestling 5 or 6 years and the amateurs hurt somebody that's brand new. It's a weird, you know, like that's probably my biggest pet peeve. I've seen guys that been arm wrestling 4 or 5 years go all out against somebody that's at their first tournament and end up breaking their arm or, you know, hurting them in some fashion. And you're just like, man, you know, it's a gray area. I don't guess I have just a huge opinion on it, but I feel like there's a lot of do's and don'ts that people do and don't.
Okay. Well, there you have it, kids. According to Corey, it's a gray area. I will interview my dog Palin on amateur classes later, and I guarantee you it will not be a gray area. Corey, thank you so much for coming on. Unless you got some, wow, look how happy Michael Todd is. It's my pleasure. Corey West, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there we go. Corey West, ladies and gentlemen, man, he's going to be a big name and a big force in this tiny little sport before too long. Other than that, that's all I got.